What's up everyone? Colten Montgomery here. I'm here in beautiful Oregon at Milo McIver State Park, one of my favorite places on tour, and I'm here to bring you my 2023 in the bag, or I guess you can say in the cart. Perfect timing, I just got my brand new R1 through Ridge Roller Customs. I'm a green guy, so let's show you guys what's in the cart. To start off, first, I've got my putting putters, which is my signature series Arctic FANG. It is an exo hard vapor link, and as you can tell, they have this juicy lure dye on them. They're originally pink, but with a black dye, and this has been my go-to putter for the last handful of years. Since the link came out, it's pretty much been my go-to putter. For me, it's really important to have a bead on my putting putters, feels super comfortable in the hand, and just this disc and plastic is the perfect amount of tackiness and grip in my hand. Next up, we'll go to my throwing putters. These are again, all of my links that I use for throwing, not putting. First up, we have an exo hard link in my favorite green color with the Montgomery stamp from Kona and I's wedding. This is pretty much brand new, so what I'm liking this for is just like a nice straight link shot with a reliable left finish. If it gets a little bit windy or I throw it a little bit harder, I can get it to go a little bit more straight. Next, I've got an old, super old beat up Arctic FANG, and this is just super flippy for me. I can throw this on a nice hyzer and watch it flip up and drift to the right. We've got less than 200 feet to the pin. I've got my super flippy Arctic FANG, kind of trying to just throw it flat, let the disc work to the anhyzer side. Or if I just need something to always hold an anhyzer line, I know this Arctic FANG link is gonna get the job done. And the last link that I'm bagging is a Peace of Mind Luxe Vapor link. This is my most overstable one, a little bit more overstable than the green Exo Hard that I'm bagging. This is something I can just trust a little bit more. I know it's not really gonna flip up to flat and it'll always have that reliable left finish. So Luxe Vapor link. And last for my throwing putters, I have two tactics. First up, I carry the Eagle McMahon Meta tactic, the Razor Claw 3. For me, this is the most overstable tactic that we have. Super flat, and the Meta plastic is nice and firm. And for me, I can always throw this on a nice chip forehand without worrying that it's gonna flip up, turn over, or anything like that. And lastly, we have the extra soft tactic with the European Open stamp. This thing first started off super overstable, but it's been in my bag for the last year. It's nice and beat up, and I like this when I know I just need something to stick. I don't need something to skip, and this disc has actually broken to be a very straight flyer for a tactic. Usually a tactic is nice and overstable, finish to the left, but I can throw this thing backhand super hard and watch it kind of just go straight with a reliable left finish. All right, let's see what's inside. Going into my mid-ranges, we'll start off with my most overstable utility disc. This is the new retooled C-Line MD5. I'm really liking this disc. The profile of it just feels amazing in the hand, especially for forehand and backhand. The thing I'm liking about this disc is, unlike the Mutant, this disc actually wants to fly. It's overstable, but wants to fly. Nice, reliable, overstable finish. So when I need a shot to finish to the left, throwing backhand, or need a nice skipping forehand, the new C-Line MD5 is what I'm gonna be reaching for. Next up in the mid-range lineup, I've got a Vapor Method. For me, I'm liking this as it's not near as overstable as the MD5, but it still has a nice overstable, reliable finish. I can throw it hard and it's gonna go flat for a little while and then finish left. So I never really have to worry about it flipping up, but I also know it's gonna stay in the air, glide, and not just dump out of the air. And last up for my mid-range is my absolute favorite mid-range ever made, maybe best disc ever made in my opinion, the MD1. As you can tell, I've got 4 of them. It's just such a versatile, great mid-range for me. Starting off with this one, this is a 15-year anniversary with the Montgomery stamp on it. It's pretty much brand new, so it goes super straight with a reliable left finish. We're about 440 feet downhill. I've got a C-line MD1. I'm gonna throw it low, hard on a hyzer flip and let the glide of the disc just carry it to the basket. This is just something that I can throw comfortable with a gentle left finish every time. Like, it's not gonna dump left, it's not really gonna turn over. It's just, if you haven't thrown an MD1, in my opinion, one of the straightest discs ever made. Next up, we've got another 15-year anniversary C-line with this juicy lore die on it. This one is a little bit more beat up and used than the other one I just showed, so I like this one for really dead straight shots. Like, it's something that I'm throwing anywhere, I would say, from 250 feet to 375 feet. It's something that I can really power down on, and it's still gonna get the same flight or throw it hard. It's just, again, very versatile disc. Next up in my MD1 lineup, I'm carrying a new C-line MD1. For me, this is not near as overstable as the 15-year anniversaries. This one is something that's gonna hold an anhyzer much longer, but it's something for me is probably my most thrown MD1. A lot of upshots are getting thrown with this disc, so I can tone it down to 250 feet or probably get it up to 400 feet. And if I'm throwing it harder, it's something I can trust on a nice hyzer flip to watch it stand up to flat, maybe turn over a little bit, or if I'm throwing it a little bit softer, it's just dead straight. And the last MD1 I'm bagging is a SWIRLY S-line. This is by far the flippiest mid-range in my bag. Anytime it gets over on an anhyzer angle, it's pretty much going to hold it. So if I need a really soft shot to go straight, this is what I'm going for. Or if I can power up on it, throw it on a hyzer flip and watch it just stand up and hold that anhyzer all the way to the basket. So as you can tell, I love the MD1. If you guys haven't tried it, I would highly recommend picking up an MD1. For my fairway drivers, I don't really bag that many of them, to be honest with you, but to start off, I'll start with my most overstable. First and foremost, we've got the Horizon Doombird 4. In my opinion, this is the most overstable FD3 that we've really ever come out with. I can throw this thing on a nice anhyzer forehand and backhand, and it's always gonna fight out. So when the wind picks up and I need a reliable finish, the Horizon FD3 is what I'll be reaching for. If I need something a little bit less stable than my Horizon FD3, I've got a nice Metal Flake FD3 that's pretty beat up. I'm liking this for kind of like a slower PD shot. It's not that overstable, but I can throw it hard and it's gonna go flat and kind of just always reliably fade to the left. Got my Metal Flake FD3 here. For my forehand, I don't have a ton of power, so I like this that will go a little bit straighter before finishing to the right. Metal Flake FD3, very good complement to the Horizon. And my last fairway driver, a new addition to the bag, the new C-Line FD1. This disc is slowly becoming a staple in my bag. If I need something to go straight with a little bit of left finish, this is super reliable. If I throw it a little bit harder on anhyzer, it kind of glides and holds that anhyzer. But the FD1, just overall, the feel in the hand feels great. Even for forehands, like if I need something slower than an FD3, not as overstable, I'll be going for the FD1. And in my opinion, I kind of think that this is like the FD3's baby brother, like not as overstable, but not super straight, and just kind of a trusty fairway driver all around. All right, let's go ahead and start off with one of my personal favorite new Discmania releases, the C-Line CD1. This disc is just all around amazing. The profile in the hand feels great. If you used to throw the CD2, you will probably love the new CD1. First, I've got the Crush Boy C-Line CD1 that's been in my bag since about Christmas time. And this has gotten super beat up where I can pretty much throw it on hyzer and it's just gonna stand up on anhyzer and drift the whole entire way. That's what I love about the CD1. I love that I can release it on a nice hyzer and it's gonna stand up and flip and hold. If I throw this thing flat, it's gonna hold the anhyzer the whole entire time. CD1 is a disc that for me isn't really gonna finish left. It's the disc that I'm gonna throw super straight or something to finish to the right. And a nice complement to the mystery box run is the new C-Line that recently dropped. This is a little bit more stable than the red one I just showed. So for me, I can throw this one flat and it's gonna go dead straight with a little gentle baby finish to the left. If I had to compare it to a mid-range, I would think that this disc is very similar to an MD1, just in a longer flight, just very versatile. Will hold an anhyzer if you put it on an anhyzer, but can also handle a little bit of power. So CD1, if you have not tried this disc, maybe my new favorite in the bag. Going into my babies, the Lone Howls. I carry 4 of them, 1 from every version. Starting off with my flippiest and my baby, as you can tell, the stamp is off of it. This is a Lone Howl 2 that has been in my bag since the beginning. It's the flippiest one I've got. I can throw it on a nice hyzer flip and it's just gonna stand up and carry the anhyzer all the way over. It's nice and flat and just years of it being in the bag. I would be lost without this disc. This is my baby. Next up, we've got the OG Lone Howl 1 with the lower stamp on it. Super juicy. This one's fairly new to my bag. The green one that I just showed, if I throw it on a hyzer flip, it's gonna stand up, turn over a little bit, maybe fight back. This disc isn't really going to turn over. It might hyzer flip to flat and then finish left. So this one is probably my most neutral Lone Howl. Next up, we've got the new Lone Howl 3 Metal Flake PD. This is not as overstable as I thought they were going to be. I thought they were gonna be a nice overstable PD, but surprisingly, and I love it, they were super glidey. Nice, gentle dome tomb all the way around, and I throw this disc for something that I know is just not going to flip over. If I need to throw it flat, it goes nice and straight with a reliable left finish. It's been a couple years since Discmania has made a Metal Flake PD, so I'm glad to have the Lone Howl 3 fill that void for me. Last up, this is my most overstable Lone Howl. It's a Lone Howl 2. It's pretty much brand new. The difference for me between the Lone Howl 2 and Lone Howl 3 is this disc doesn't glide as much as the Lone Howl 3, which is, in my opinion, what makes it more overstable. If the wind picks up or if I need something that's definitely gonna be finishing left, the Lone Howl 2, brand new with the juicy lore stamp is what I'm gonna be throwing. Next in the bag, this one is a little bit funky. At first, I didn't really know where it was gonna fit in my bag, but recently I've been falling in love with the Neo Paradigm. As I've mentioned before, my forehand isn't quite as powerful as a lot of people here on tour. This disc, I can throw it nice and hard, hyzer flip on a forehand, and it just gets a nice hyzer flip up and finishes to the right. I don't really throw this disc at all backhand, so that's why it's kind of a weird disc in my bag. Strictly forehand, but man, if you need a nice hyzer flip forehand disc, the Neo Paradigm. Next up, another new addition to the bag from Discmania that I'm absolutely loving is the new S-Line DD1. For me, I kind of compare this to a CD1, but with a little bit more distance to it. Or you can say it's a baby brother to an S-Line DD3. We'll start with this orange one. It's my most understable one. Something that I don't throw a ton backhand, but I do throw it a lot forehand if I need something a little bit more overstable than the Paradigm that I was just showing. But for backhand, this is something good for a distance, big distance anhyzers, hyzer flips, or even a really good roller disc. This DD1, the teal one, is a newer one in my bag, and for me, I thought it was gonna be pretty flippy, but it's kind of like a flippy DD3 for me. I really like it that I can hit it on hyzer flips hard and have it stand up, turn over, but still finish left. We've got a long par 4, pretty open airspace, So I've got the S-Line DD1, throwing it on a nice hyzer flip, letting it drift to the right to give myself an open up shot. If I don't want to throw a DD3 as hard, I can kind of just power down to a DD1 and still get that same flight. And lastly, into the big boys, the DD3s, my go-to distance driver. Starting off with my flippiest one. It's been in my bag for, geez, since they dropped really. This is a Cloudbreaker 3, white, nice and domey, as you can hear the pop top. Started off very overstable at first, but this disc has slowly become my flippiest disc that I can throw on a hyzer flip, and it kind of holds the anhyzer for several hundred feet before just barely finishing to the left. So this is my flippiest DD3, really good for my forehands if I need something to fight the wind more forehand than the DD1 or Paradigm. Next, we've got another white Cloudbreaker 3. This one is newer to the bag, so it's a little bit more overstable. It's not gonna have the stand up of the previous one that I threw. And it's just something really that like I can throw on an anhyzer, and I know even in the wind, it's gonna fight back to the left, and just an all around comfortable, reliable distance driver. Another newer one to the bag is the new Horizon Cloudbreaker from Eagle McMahon. This is probably one of the more overstable Cloudbreakers that Discmania has come out with. I throw this thing in a headwind and it doesn't really flip up at all. I can throw this thing nice and hard, and I always know it's gonna finish left. The thing I do really like about the Horizon Cloudbreaker is it feel like they've got a little bit more glide to them than the Cloudbreaker 3 or the C-Line Cloudbreakers. So if you need a Cloudbreaker with a little bit more glide, check out the Horizon. And lastly, we've got the C-Line DD3. This is just super domey, super overstable. It really doesn't go that far, but that's okay. I just need it for the reliability. If I need a distant shot that I don't want to get flat or ever to turn over, the C-Line DD3 is what I'll be reaching for. All right, that's a wrap for my 2023 in the cart. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I throw, some of my juicy dies that I enjoy having in my bag. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank Discmania for making this all possible, giving me juicy discs to throw, supporting me while I'm out here chasing my dreams. And a big thanks to Ridge Roller Customs for giving me this beautiful bright green cart. Thank you all for the support. We'll see you out there.